A high-level review is underway following the government's water procurement saga as lawmakers call for tighter scrutiny on the tender system. Thanks to a surge in IPO and trading activities, the Hong Kong Stock Exchange experiences another quarter of record profits. And U.S. President Donald Trump vows not to send American ground troops to protect Ukraine, but mulls air support. Good evening. You're watching Cable News. I'm Quentin Yang. Following the arrest of director from Xing at the center of government's water procurement saga, spotlight is now on the administration's public tender procedures, with a high-level review ongoing.
The government, allegedly defrauded by the water supplier using fake documents, is now grappling with the fallout. Secretary for Financial Services and the Treasury, Christopher Hui, has announced a three-pronged response, including an audit commission review of bidding processes, a dedicated task force to examine procurement mechanisms, and a directive making the government logistics department, headed by Carlson Chan, primarily responsible for the supplier monitoring. Chan, who had been absent from public view, convened with auditors in his office this morning, but still declined to address the media. The saga has exposed critical gaps in the government's procurement system. Currently, suppliers can register with the GLD by submitting only basic information, with no rigorous vetting process. The lack of independent verification has drawn criticism from legislators. Lawmaker Tony Tse proposed concrete reforms, suggesting a dual-envelope tender system and stricter background checks. The past record, reputation in this area, and whether the responsible person has committed related offenses or even has criminal records can all help the government review whether the relevant application is acceptable, he said. The GLD confirmed the final payment of $2,268 to Xing before terminating the deal. The company's other government contracts, including over $2 million in chemical supply deals, were also terminated. Subsequent scrutiny revealed the company's owners were already involved in a 2023 fraud case.
Meanwhile, the Customs and Excise Department arrested the same couple involved in the government's bottled water saga on additional charges under the Trade Descriptions Ordinance, following an initial arrest by police on Sunday on suspicion of fraud. Evelyn Bai reports.
Tommy Kwok, Customs Head of Trade Descriptions Investigation Bureau, stated that the water supplier Xing Trade provided bottled water bearing false manufacturer information to government offices, leading to the arrest of a 61-year-old male director and a 57-year-old female shareholder of the company, a married couple, on Tuesday and Wednesday. The male suspect remains in custody due to his involvement in a separate police fraud case, while the female has been released on bail pending further investigation. Kwok emphasized that the investigation is ongoing and did not rule out further arrests. The department is maintaining close contact with relevant agencies, including the police and mainland authorities, to advance the probe. Evelyn Bai, Cable News.
A Grade 2 fire broke out at a metal hut in Shek Ho this afternoon, sending 2 residents to the hospital with burn injuries.
The blaze broke out around 1 p.m. in the makeshift home near the Popular Beaches parking lot, sending a column of thick black smoke high into the air that was visible across the area. Eyewitnesses reported the fire spread rapidly, with some villagers attempting to fight the fire before responders could arrive. Firefighters deployed a hosepipe and a breathing apparatus team to tackle the blaze, which was extinguished by 2 p.m. The 2 victims, a man and a woman who lived in the structure, were conscious and received initial treatment for hand burns before being rushed to Pamela Yud Netherso Eastern Hospital.
A new decanting block developed by the Housing Society Yue Ying Lao in Aberdeen welcomed its first batch of residents.
Located on Shekpai 1 Road, the 27-story building offers 600 rental units. Residents affected by Phase 1 of the Yuekwangchun redevelopment are given priority to be rehoused at the building, along with one-off removal allowances and rent concessions for the first 4 years. Upon completion, the whole Yuekwangchun redevelopment will yield more than 2,900 units, representing 2.5 times of the number of units before redevelopment. The first phase redevelopment is expected to be completed by 2034.
Speaking of security guarantees for Ukraine, U.S. President Donald Trump has ruled out sending American ground troops, but hinted at possible air support. Meanwhile, the White House is looking to set up Russia-Ukraine direct talks in either Hungary or Switzerland. Jimmy Liu reports.
Following talks with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky at the White House about possible security assurances for Kyiv, Trump spoke to Fox News, making clear the U.S. will not send ground troops to help defend Ukraine. But he suggested the U.S. could provide air support to European military forces stationed in Ukraine. The U.S., European nations, and Ukraine have reportedly formed a commission to draft a proposal for security guarantees to be led by U.S. State Secretary Marco Rubio. Determined to end the 3.5-year-old conflict, Trump said he's also arranging direct talks between Zelensky and their Russian counterpart, Vladimir Putin. However, he stressed that it would be impossible for Ukraine to join NATO and get back Crimea, which was annexed by the Kremlin in 2014. The White House reportedly is looking for a venue for the Putin-Zelensky summit, with Hungarian capital Budapest and Geneva in Switzerland being discussed. Switzerland said it is ready to hold such talks, even though the country is a signatory to the International Criminal Court, which has issued an arrest warrant for Putin over war crimes. Speaking to state media, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said that the Kremlin does not reject any bilateral or trilateral meetings related to Ukraine. However, he did not commit to any such meetings, cautioning that any contacts involving top officials should be prepared very carefully. Jamie Liu, Cable News.
After 4 days of upending travel for hundreds of thousands of passengers across North America, Air Canada has finally begun restoring its flight schedule, following a tentative deal reached with its union ending a massive 10,000 staff walkout. However, the airline warns it will still take at least a week to fully normalize operations, leaving customers with ongoing cancellations and financial loss.
The breakthrough came after a 9-hour negotiation session with a federal mediator, resolving a key dispute over pay for time spent on safety checks and passenger assistance while planes are on the ground. Work the Canadian Union of Public Employees said amounted to an average of 35 unpaid hours per worker each month. The strike, which began last Saturday and was the carrier's first since 1985, forced the cancellation of at least 2,500 flights, stranding an estimated 500,000 travelers. The Canada Industrial Relations Board had even declared the job action illegal on Monday in order to return to work, just before the new agreement was finalized. While service is gradually restoring, Air Canada said further cancellations are inevitable in the coming days. The airline is offering affected passengers options including a full refund or rebooking on a future Air Canada flight or with a competitor.
A fireball lit up the night sky over southern Japan on Tuesday, captivating witnesses across several regions.
The spectacle was captured on video by residents of Miyazaki Prefecture at around 11 p.m. The footage shows a large fireball streaking across the sky, glowing brightly and flickering as it descends, igniting the tranquil night. The fireball was also recorded by Kansai International Airport, Matsuyama Airport, and in Kochi Prefecture. The videos depict the meteor glowing across the sky in shades of green, blue, and orange. Experts believe the phenomenon was a shining shooting star generated by asteroid fragments and cosmic dust burning up when they entered the Earth's atmosphere. They speculate that any remaining debris may likely fall into the waters off the coast of Kagoshima.
Hong Kong exchanges and clearing reported a strong earnings season, achieving record high revenue and profit in the second quarter thanks to robust initial public offerings and active stock trading. Evelyn Bai reports.
In the second quarter, HKEX reported a record profit of $4.44 billion, reflecting a 41% increase compared to the same period last year. Revenue during the April to June period also grew significantly, rising by 33% year-on-year, with core business revenue climbing 32% to $6.64 billion. The average daily turnover on the Hong Kong Bourse skyrocketed by 95% year-on-year, though it saw a slight quarter-on-quarter decrease of 2%. Southbound turnover jumped 154%, while those of northbound trading was up 19%. In the first half of the year, total revenue reached a $14.1 billion, while profit stood at $8.5 billion, up 33% and 39% respectively, both reaching record highs. The Bourse operator declared an interim dividend of $6 per share, up from $4.36 in the previous year. The exchange attributed a strong performance to a vibrant IPO market in the first half of the year, which saw 44 new listings, raising a total of $109.4 billion. Notable among these was this year's world's largest IPO of Contemporary Empress Technology, which raised $41 billion after an exercise of an over-element option. Meanwhile, year-to-date, the benchmark Hang Seng Index has maintained strong momentum, gaining approximately 28%. Chief Executive Officer Bonnie Chan vowed to remain vigilant in the face of external uncertainties.
Going forward, we recognize that the global macroeconomic environment is going through profound change. Investors and issuer demand for diversity of products, deep liquidity, and powerful connectivity will intensify. It is essential that we lean full tilt into meeting these demands.
Addressing the feasibility of 24-hour trading, Chen said that while she had no fixed stance, it was crucial to evaluate the risks. Evelyn Bai, Cable News.
Now let's take a look at the stock market. The Hang Seng Index ended the day up 43 points. Top active stocks of the day, Pop Mart was up $35.20. Tencent was down $2. Xiaomi was up 15 cents, while Alibaba was down 80 cents. On to the weather now. Mainly cloudy with 1 or 2 showers. Sunny periods during the day, temperatures will range between 28 and 32 degrees. And that's our news tonight. I'm Quentin Yang. Thank you for watching. Good night.